Hey everybody, welcome to this week's live stream. I hope everybody's doing great today. So we're going to do something a little bit different today. We're not going to be casting and we're not going to be turning a pen. We're going to be turning some beads. And this is it's not new, brand new, but it's a relatively recent addition to the Turner's Warehouse lineup. They started making these little kits, and I think it's best to just go overhead because they're kind of small. So basically what we're doing is, here's our blank. It's tiny. It's like the smallest pen on earth, and they're very simple. They're just little metal doohickeys that go on the ends, and you've got yourself a bead. So the coolest part about these, number one, they're really cheap, and number two, as you can see, all of those little cutoffs that we are like, what should I do with these things, are totally perfect for these. Almost every, I don't know, I always have something that I cut off, especially with my blanks. They're a little bit longer, so if you're going for like a 5 1/4 inch blank, and you only do 2 Sierras, I'm pretty sure you could probably get a bead as well, especially if you're cutting your blanks with a bandsaw, so limited kerf. But pretty cool. They've got a couple different things that they've got going on. They got, as far as I know, let me, I'm going to actually go and grab a link really quickly. I'll just go back to this view for now. I'm going to go get a link. There's links for everything down in the description already, but I'm going to grab you guys a link for the chat window here. So, yeah, so they've got 4, I just wanted to double check and make sure. They've got 4 different styles. There's stainless steel, there's brass, and then they've got they actually have a couple of new products in this. I'm not sure when they came out with these, probably, I want to say like halfway through last year, maybe, something like that. And originally they came out with the brass and the stainless steel, and they've come out with blue anodized aluminum as well as black anodized aluminum. So pretty awesome. You've got different weights in the stainless steel and brass versus the aluminum as well. So if you wanted a lighter one, you can go with the aluminum style. So let me, hold on a minute, guys. Where am I going? I got a link up here. There we go. So here's a link to the beads, the bead kits. The other thing that they've got is a kind of a package deal. It's called the Bead Kit Starter Set. Let's see, I just want to make sure I've got everything here, that I know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to go to the overhead view again. So they've got a starter set. So the thing is, you're going to need bushings, right? So they've got a starter set that comes with the the bushings. They give you a little bit of paracord, which is kind of cool if you wanted to make it, add it to your wallet or your keychain or, whatever. And then you get, as far as I know, I'm not sure if you can pick, from the picture, you get the stainless steel and the brass set. So no blanks. But you get a little starter set, and it's got everything that you need to get going. So it's kind of a cool little deal. When Chad was telling me about this, the first thing that I thought of, we've got a lot of like ceiling fans in our house and lamps and all that stuff, and I was like, these would be really cool for lamp pulls. Like that's the initial, like I'm not really like a paracord bead hanging off my keychain thing kind of guy. So I was like, well, I'm not sure. And then like I said, the lamp pull idea, I was like, that's pretty awesome. And then another thing that I would probably find personally a little bit useful is for like, let me see if I have something that's a good, I'm sure I'll find something right when I turn off the stream. I don't know, like a tool, like maybe like a knife or something, like, well, like this, like something where if you just needed something to kind of hang, like a tool or something like that, you could even color code, different things. I don't know. But they're pretty cool. And like I said, they're cheap, they're simple, and they use so little material. You could just, I will say the one problem with this is if saving every single cutoff might get a little bit out of control in your shop. I don't know, maybe just have a bucket where you throw little cutoffs, so you don't get too out of control. When it gets full, just be like, okay, I'm done. But they're pretty cool. So I've been meaning to do these, try these out, turn some for a long time. And I was like, okay, let's just do this. Let's get in here and get it going. So that's what we're going to do today. It should be kind of fun. So let's see here. I'm going to scroll up. We got Mike McEwen was here first, and Vinny and Kim and Brian over at TBC. Actually, that brings up a good point, TBC Bushings. So if you've got a mandrel, like a normal turning mandrel, that's the type of bushings these guys are. If you like to turn between centers, this is another reason I'm telling you guys, if you are a TBC turner, you have to get the adapter bushings. They are quintessential in your TBC bushing turning kit, setup. So I'm going to be using those, and I can turn these guys right between centers. It's amazing. You can get these guys at tbcbushings.com. Turner's Warehouse, I'm pretty sure, just came out with some adapter bushings as well, so you can get them at Turner's Warehouse. I really like Brian. So Brian is TBC Bushings in the chat. I really like his work. He does excellent. He's got the best bushings. They're absolutely perfect. And he can make anything that you want. That's kind of another thing. Like, actually, if you really wanted to get, if you're like, oh, I'm going to do a lot of these bushings or beads, he can actually make you the bushings so that you don't even have to use adapters. So I always say, if you've got bushings, if you're somebody that's coming from the standard mandrel bushing style, turning, and you've got a bunch of the old, normal mandrel bushings, then that's definitely, and you're going to be switching to TBC, turning between center type for pens and stuff. Definitely get these adapters. I think the adapters are perfect for kits that you don't do a lot of. But if you are converting, if you are switching, or you're beginning, starting out, I think it's worth it to get, if you, let's just say that you make a lot of cigar pen kits, just go get the real bushings, the real TBC bushings, for those. For kits that you do a lot of, spend the money, go get the good bushings, because you're shortening, having to put another component in between your centers and the bushing adds just a tiny bit more slop in there. So if you can just get the bushing that goes with that pen kit, that's going to be the best option. And they're just, they're a little bit easier to deal with. You don't have to load a bunch of stuff up on your lathe. So like I said, for things that you do a lot of, just spend the money and get the bushings. But if you've got, mandrel style bushings for kits that you might do someday, that's where the adapters really come in handy. Because you can buy one set and keep those things. You don't have to replace all your bushings. So let's see here. We got Mark Ellis is here. Lily is here. And who else? David Bingham. Jules the Cat, what's up? Haven't seen you for a while. Welcome to the stream. Song Dog. And let's see here. Who else we got here? Paul's here. Oh, you haven't seen the bead, I always want to call them bushings, the beads. Yeah, they're really cool. And one thing that Chad showed me, and I guess technically, yeah, the more I think about it. So the kits come with, let me show you guys what you get in a kit, just so you kind of know. They come with an 8mm tube, and so that way you can fit your paracord and all that kind of stuff. Let's go back. I'll come back to the who's in the chat kind of thing. So it's pretty simple. There's not a lot going on, but you get a little tube. It's the smallest little thing I've ever seen. And then you get your two components that go into the tube, right? But technically, you could buy your own tube and make it whatever length you want. So you'd have to just get the 8mm. I'm pretty sure, I would imagine that Turner's Warehouse sells the brass tubes, and they're longer. They have a little pipe cutter doohickey that you can use to cut them to whatever length you want. I have one of those things too. Got to be honest, haven't used it. You could just use a saw or whatever, but this is a product that I'm pretty sure I got this from Turner's Warehouse. So it's a little tube cutter, and you just kind of spin it around in there and clamp it down. It's got a little cutter wheel. and then a couple rollers up on top, and you just kind of cut off whatever you need. But you can make a longer bead, like it could be anything, really. So one of the things that I saw Chad make was a watch parts bead. How crazy is that? That's one that I don't love doing those things. They really take a lot of concentration and patience, which I don't have much of. So let's see, let's get back here. We got, who else is here? Bruce Mullins is here. Myra's here. I'll see you soon. Oh, and a big announcement, actually. I almost forgot. Let's see here. I gotta go back somewhere. So, just a reminder, the Turner's Warehouse open house event, I'm gonna give you guys another link real quick. If you want to see the lineup of everybody and when things are, follow that link. Basically, there's going to be a bunch of demos on Saturday. That'll be the February 8th, I believe. Let me just double check my calendar so I'm not spreading lies and rumors. Yeah, on the 8th. The 7th, I guess the 7th is open. I don't think there's a lot going on the 7th. I think everything's pretty much mostly on Saturday as far as I understand. However, I am going to be doing 2 demos actually. So I'm going to do one demo that's a resin casting demo on Friday the 7th. And then I'm going to be doing one that's kind of like finishing up. Basically, I'm going to turn a pen, I think. I think they're calling it like finishing a pen. Basically, Amy was kind of like, well, you kind of finish pens differently than Chad. So it'd be kind of cool to get your adaptation, because Chad does classes and demos and stuff in Arizona. So I think that she just kind of wanted like a little bit of a different perspective. Basically, I'm just going to turn a pen and then kind of cover how I do the finishing process. So it'll be pretty fun. I think what I'm going to do is try to have them set up a live stream of that. They may be doing that anyway. So that weekend, I'm not going to be doing live streams on my channel. Everything, I'm pretty sure that I'm almost certain that they're probably going to be doing live streams through their channel probably all day. So be looking for that. I'll let you know more when I find out. However, the other thing is there are private one-on-one classes with me available, and there's still 2 left as far as I know. Those are going to be, the open slots are on Monday the 10th. So here's a link if you want to do that. If you're going to be in town and you're like, hey, I want to do a one-on-one class. It's an hour and a half long, which is a good amount of time. I tend to go over on those things. But it's really fun. I really enjoy the one-on-one classes because like basically you come in, you could be any skill level. It doesn't, that doesn't matter. Beginner to like expert technically. And we just either, if all you want to do is like, get a kind of a beginner lesson, and we kind of go through everything, you have all of the questions in the world that you can ask during that time. So you could either just kind of do like a 101 type thing with me helping you, but you actually make blanks. That's the best part about this. We usually do 2 batches of blanks, especially for like the beginner one. We'll do a couple different things with some different, pigments and whatever you want to do kind of thing. And then the other way is if you've been casting for a while, but you just want like instruction on, kind of me helping out, like let's figure out one type of like technique. That's kind of the other way. So that if you have something that, specific in mind that you want to kind of learn about and do with me, that's the other way. So it's pretty fun either way. I always have a lot of fun with those things. Like I said, hour and a half, and there's 2 slots available as far as I know. It's not through my website, it's through Turner's Warehouse website. So here's a link to that. I don't know why they used that link. But anyway, so you can just sign up and pay, and then you're on the books. And if you don't want to do it through the website, you can also just call them. There's the phone numbers on that page. So it should be pretty fun. I'm looking forward to the event. I got my plane tickets and everything's ready to go. So let's see, who else is here? Anybody else that I missed? Chris Walters is here. The only thing I found with this is the mandrel without the bar. longer than the tube. Huh. Oh. I don't know how that works. Mandrel. Oh, with the, yeah, I don't know. I don't know exactly what that means because I don't I don't use mandrels. So I'm trying to think how that would work. I haven't used a mandrel for so long. Ah, and Mark from Hobble Creek's here. What's up? Myra's already in. We're gonna do some hybrid burl casting. That should be pretty fun. Yeah, hopefully I'm pretty. They have the live streaming capabilities. So, and they did this last time where everything was live. Because there's a lot of people that just can't fly to Arizona for a weekend. So I think they understand that, but that doesn't mean that you have to miss out. I don't think. I'm pretty sure that they're going to have live streams probably of all the demos. The other thing that's going to be going on, this one's actually a little bit different. They tend to kind of switch things up every time they do an open house. There will be some food and all that kind of stuff, but there's also going to be and I'm probably going to butcher the actual name of this. I'm not going to, let's see here. You're going to have, okay. So there's also going to be reps from Rikon and Record Power. They're going to be doing some different stuff, showing some tools, which is different. They haven't had, like a tool company, people doing anything out there. So that's going to be kind of cool if you're looking, especially if you're looking for like a lathe or any of those types of things. They can kind of show you around and they know everything, and they'll probably be able to pull it out and all that kind of stuff. There might be discounts even if you're looking for purchases. I don't want to make any promises because I don't know, but there probably will be. And then the other thing is the Arizona Woodturners Association is going to be out there. I think they're going to even bring some like lathes maybe, or I don't know. They're going to do some stuff in the back. So if you're local there and thinking about joining a turning association, they're going to be there. So that's pretty cool. But some of the demos, Jim Godoy is going to be doing something. I think he's doing like the basic resin casting one this year. And then Kate Harrow is going to be doing like specialty blank turning. I'm not entirely certain what that is. And then also Emily Ford from She Turns Wood. She's going to be doing some hollowing. So there's lots of cool stuff going on. Lots of people. So I just wanted to let everybody know that is happening, and it should be pretty awesome. So let's see. Kev raised his hand. Did you have a question? Savannah Bananas? Oh, that would be awesome, but I'm not going to have time to do anything else. That's the problem with my trips to Phoenix. I don't really end up having a whole lot of extra time to do anything else but kind of Turner's Warehouse stuff. And actually, the other thing is I'm going to be doing a project, actually. I'm going to be making a knife handle with Chad, or like a knife. So I'm probably not going to have time, but that's awesome. Thank you so much for the offer. Savannah Bananas, that's funny. I love it. Pushing the legs. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, this one's a little bit different this time. I mean, it's kind of the same. It's going to be, there's going to be people doing demos. There's going to be people hanging out. One of the things that I really love, actually, that they don't really, you don't market this necessarily. It's not one of the, time slot type things at these types of events. But one of the coolest things is you get to meet a bunch of people. Not necessarily tool company people or, YouTube people or chat or any of those. It's just all the other people that are there. You end up kind of breaking off into little groups, chatting about different cool stuff that you do or, have questions about. And that's almost more like enjoyable. Just hanging out with people. That's one of the things that I like about doing any event, SWAT or, the pen shows and stuff. It's just hanging out, meeting different people that are, like-minded basically. And there's always somebody that's got, questions for you. You've got questions and you get into these discussions about, all kinds of cool stuff. It's pretty fun. Yeah, Kate is awesome. She's really cool. If you haven't met, Kate from, Bullseye, she's really cool. All right, so let's see here. Yeah, Emily's doing a class that and I feel bad. I would mention that. I'm just not sure what the specifics are. Let me see if there's a link to her. Oh, there is. Okay, so I don't know if there's openings or, whatever. It's, and it's like a pretty big deal class. Like it's like spindle turning, and I think it's like 3 days or long or something like that. Like it's like, if you really want to learn spindle turning, like this is the class. So here's a link. I didn't see that before. So, all right, so let's see here. Let's go and let's turn some beads up. That's the wrong camera. Well, so before we go over there, so here's the blanks that I pulled out. So I actually had a little bit of a cutoff from the, this is the baby powder one, and I was drilling it and it smelled like baby powder. It was hilarious. I just thought that was kind of a fun one. We'll see the other thing is I don't know which ones to pair. I've got, I've got one of each kit, the brass, both the black and blue anodized, and then the stainless steel. I had a good chunk of that stuff that was like the pearl with the 14 karat nugget in there. I figured that would, definitely go good with the brass. But it would go with probably black as well. I don't know. So we got that. And then I've been kind of, I'm trying to switch over to vertical pour for my team color blanks. And I've got a ton of work to do. We're still not close to that turning over. So don't worry about that. But I have a Dodgers blank that I had poured. So I thought, okay, I got a bead. Maybe it'll go with the blue. I don't know. Maybe it'll go with the stainless steel. And then the other announcement, I almost forgot about this announcement. So this doesn't look like much, but this is my deep space blanks, and I actually just launched those. So let me get a link to those products. Now the pictures on the website are terrible because it's got starlight glitter in it, and you can't take a stationary, non-moving picture of glitter that sparkles and refracts in sunlight or light very well. It just kind of looks like there's like dots of whatever in there. So once we polish this up, you'll get a better view of what the deep space blanks look like. They're very simple. They're just black with starlight glitter in them. But I love them. It's my intention with that blank was, if you've ever been camping or you've been like, I don't know, maybe on a road trip and you're like out in the middle of nowhere, no light pollution, and you look up and, the sky is just black with thousands of stars. Where we used to live we were kind of out in the country, and there was a lot less light pollution than where I live now. We could just literally go out in the backyard and it was like, stars everywhere. We went on a cruise to Alaska. That was crazy. There's so many stars that it's like bright. It's kind of crazy. So that was the inspiration for this blank. Unfortunately, pictures don't do it justice. So you got to kind of see what's going on with it. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to turn one of those guys up. And they're all blanks that I can see using for like lamp poles and fan, ceiling fan things. So yeah, I'm excited about the deep space. Like I said, it's simple. There's not a lot going on. But starlight glitter, as we all know, it can transform a blank into something kind of crazy. So let's bring these guys over. I got my bushings, I got my adapters. We got the lathe set up. So these are going to be very quick turns too. I think the cool thing about these beads, like if you just need like a simple like gift or something, like you could just grab yourself some paracord, turn one of these beads up. And the other thing is that I didn't mention, they're really cheap for a kit. I think they're like $3 or something like that. They might even have get a bunch of them and they're even cheaper. Let's see. Oh, what the heck's going on with these? Oh. I want to look and see what there it is, bead. Bead kit. How much are the bead kits? $3.50. So, and they have their quantity discounts. If you buy like 10, you get 5% off. Buy 20 of them, you get 10% off. And if you buy 50 or more, you get 15% off. So pretty cool. So $3. Let's see what we can do with these little guys. All right, so I got my, what do you call this? This is the live center. This is the dead center. And you can get all that stuff. It turned, excuse me. I ate a candy bar. Or it's not a candy bar. It's actually like a protein bar, but it tasted like a Three Musketeers. Oh my God, this. If you're looking for like a really good protein bar, do I have the package, the wrapper? I'm gonna pull it out of the trash if I have to. Yeah, I'm pulling this out of the trash, guys, because I think it's that important. So if you got a Trader Joe's by you, and unfortunately I ripped the thing, but this caramel cashew bear bells, I don't know. Gretchen found these. It's a protein bar, and there's no sugar or anything like that, but this thing tasted like a Three Musketeers. And like it even had like the nougat center. So let me put that back up there. It's not, hashtag not sponsored. I just ate it, but the problem was I got some stuck in my throat. Now I'm like, ugh. I'm gonna get a drink. Okay, that's much better. This is the smallest pen ever. Okay, so I'm going to turn on my... I got the chat on my phone right there. Oh, I need to join the Arizona Woodturners Association. Oh, get me some discounts. All right, so like I said, this is probably going to be some of the quickest, fastest turning I've ever seen in my life, but I'm going to turn the dust collector on real quick here. And I've just got a standard cutter. You could go with either way. So this is the Dodgers blank. That thing a little bit more useful, pointed towards it there. So I think what I'm going to do is like try to get this thing like dead straight, and then I think I'm going to put a little indentation in it. I suppose you could call it a cove if you want to be technical. It's kind of like turning a section on a fountain pen. All right, I think that's good. So look at that, we're already done. Some of the fastest turning you'll see. Definitely you'll see me do. Turn off. Dust collector remote won't work. All right, so we'll pull out our lathe, buddy. Hey, buddy, how's it going? And these are linked down in the description as well. Still haven't heard word on like any finalization. I'm hoping that Turner's Warehouse starts carrying these guys, so the linking is a little bit simpler, quicker for y'all, for everybody really. But they're pretty good. If you haven't seen these lathe buddies, they're made by So Amusing. And they're basically just like a terry cloth, and then on the back though, there's like a kind of a plastic backing, and those two pieces are sewn together. And the nice thing is, if this soaks up a lot of water, if you spill a lot, it's not going to get through to your lathe bed. Plus there's magnets in the corners, which is really cool, and they're machine washable. So that's pretty awesome. Super simple. Let's see what's happening here. Jennifer's here. How's it going? Sanding's going to be pretty quick too. So what I've got here is a little bit of 600 grit. And this is a silicon carbide, your wet dry sandpaper. Really, at this point, it's settled. I think this is the best way to go. It cuts faster, but it also isn't super aggressive. Now you're going to have to use water or some sort of lubrication. You could probably use like an oil. Again, I think I mentioned it before. You could even use something like Yorkshire grit as a little bit of a like a lubricant kind of thing. It's got some oils and waxes. I think liquids are probably, something you can dunk it back in. Water is obviously the best choice, but if you've got some sort of an issue with water, there are some other options. You could use like a 3-in-1 oil. You could use WD-40 probably if you had to. I think for most people, water is the easiest way to go, but there are other options, and depending on the situation also, there may be certain types of projects or whatever where water really just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to use. Okay. Now we'll go with our Zona papers. And for the most part, this is probably where Chad and I, diverge. I'm pretty sure he just goes all the way through the Zona papers for polishing. I usually go with the magic juice. There's a million ways you can finish things or, polish things up. Mark's here. Totaled her car. Oh no. That's not good. So I just go with the green Zona and then the gray one. Every now and then I might go with the blue also. If you're going to switch to magic juice, you don't really need to go, like I hear some people go like all the way through to the white with, Zona papers. Then they start with like number 1 magic juice and, do things like that. Or in the past, it was more like they'd do like all the micro meshes, then they'd go and buff it. And it just, you just need to get to a certain point and then, switch, because the grit levels, it'd be like sanding all the way up to 4,000 and then dropping back down to 180. with a different type of sandpaper, you know. So you don't need to overlap so much usually. I don't think there's a whole lot of benefit to doing that, if any. So I just go up to, like I said, gray, maybe blue sometimes if I'm feeling frisky. That'll just get you a little bit finer polish from the papers. Then I switch to the magic juice. Technically, if you look at the instructions, which I have somewhere, usually you can kind of figure out where things lie. How high do you need to go, you know, with like sanding. I'm pretty sure magic juice, I think the instructions recommend that you go to like 1,000 to 2,000, somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000 for like sanding or whatever, polishing papers, whatever. Then go to step 1. And it's similar, you know, if you have buffing wheels, if you do buffing, the Tripoli, the brown, reddish brown one, that's going to be about, so like basically you'd want to sand up to about 1,000, then hit it with the Tripoli. Tripoli will take out 1,000 grit scratches for sure. And I'll just give you the instructions on that because I used to buff all the time, and that's definitely true. So we need some shop towels. I like to use the shop towels. They're a little softer when I switch over to the polishing part. I'm gonna close that guy up, move it out of the way. Let's see here. Oh, whoops. Things in the wrong piles here. Wouldn't oil clog the paper? Not any more than it would. Well, I'm not necessarily talking about like motor oil. Mineral oil is a little bit thicker, but oil is not going to clog the paper. The dust mixed with oil might a little bit. You know, that could happen. It's not like I have a lot of experience sanding with oil, so I don't know. I think you'd be all right. You know, something like WD-40 would be good, 3-in-1 oil. The problem with those, though, is, you know, those are pretty expensive. So it's not like you're going to have a bucket. And that's kind of the issue, is you really want to clear, you know, constantly clear off the surface. So it is, I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm just saying if you've got like, if there's something keeping you from using water for some reason, you could use other things to kind of, you know, create that similar effect. Oh, that's looking shiny already. All right, number 2. $800 is acceptable, huh? And so what I've kind of sort of converted, you know, the grits to when you're dealing with Zona paper is the blue is around 2,500 grit, possibly. The gray is like 1,350. So that's why I just stop after the gray. And just for anybody that cares, and these aren't for sure, this isn't like I got it off their website. This is trying to convert microns, because like their instructions tell you what microns each thing is. They don't tell you what grit. And just to let you know, there's different grit levels, but once you start getting above 1,000, they're all kind of the same. But I kind of converted things. I just tried to find some information where other things converted like a micron level to, and this is the Euro P scale for grits. So your zona green is around 700, somewhere in that neighborhood. So, and I don't even know, once you get to like the zona pink, it's kind of off the charts. So you're probably not gonna, it's probably not that important to know. It's just, that's the next step, you know, and above that. That's, you know, I was mainly focused on trying to figure out, you know, typically most polishes and buffing and all, you know, all those types of things, somewhere you really only need to like sand, and I'm going to call zona polishing paper kind of a sanding technique. I really didn't need that much stuff. I'll take some back. I'll just use this piece, I guess. Most of them, you kind of, I guess what I found is most of these things, you sand up to around somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000, and you should be fine when you start moving on to the next. You know, like I said, if it's a buffing wheel or, you know, different other things. I would imagine even like Yorkshire grit is probably in the same boat. Again, somewhere between 1 and 2,000. If you want to err on the side of caution, just sand up to 2,000. Then move on to, you know, whatever the next stage is. You put a Zona legend on the stickers? That's funny. I love it. So Kevin, did you have a question? You said, I'm raising my hand. I didn't know exactly what that meant. And I didn't see a question. So let me know. The time lag is hard because like I ask a question and then I move on. You guys don't see it for like 30 seconds and then I've moved on to something else. So I'll try and pay attention this time. Keep my eyes peeled. And where did you get the old package? Pink is... Oh, that's on the old package? Well, the one thing, even if green is 600, I don't necessarily recommend that you use, well, especially if you've got tool marks, I don't find that the green Zona paper works half as good as silicon carbide. This stuff is grittier for some reason, and you know, they're different types. That's the thing, is silicon carbide is a different type of sandpaper than whatever this is, and it's also different from aluminum oxide, which is what most of your like standard sandpapers are, and so that gets you even into a even more deeper discussion about abrasive particles. You know, buffing rouges, they're a different type of abrasive. And so that's where things get kind of really tough when you're trying to, you know, figure out, convert things, because they're not necessarily going to operate exactly the same in some cases. And so if green is 600, and that's not equivalent in my eyes to silicon carbide 600. The silicon carbide 600 is much more aggressive. And so, you know, I really like that, the silicon carbide, and it kind of depends on how many tool marks and all that, how rough the surface is, where you're going to start. I think most people probably could get away with 600, honestly. As long as there's not deep kind of gouges, but maybe drop down to 400. I don't think most people are going to need to go much below that. Now it depends on, you know, and this is like for pens. Sometimes for larger turnings, you may need to do a little bit more sanding. It's sometimes a little harder to get that kind of perfect surface. Pens are usually not that difficult, I don't find, personally. So hopefully same goes for you. All right. So that's looking pretty good. What do you guys think about that Dodger blue, huh? Not too bad. I'm still honing in on my colors. I could easily stop with that for Dodgers. The problem with doing like an entire line of team color blanks is, a lot of times things are good enough for like a one-off, but if you stack this next to something else, something, like a bunch of different type of blues, in some cases, good enough is good enough. But for me, what I try to do is if you're going to buy like a bunch of different blanks that have blue in them, I don't want the Dodger one to be the same color or lighter than something that should be like darker, So I try to do that. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to turn these guys. I'll bring it back so you can see. It's a pretty cool looking bead. I'm going to turn them all, and then we'll assemble them all. I'm going to get my little assembly tool over on the bench over here. And we'll kind of line them up. And the other thing is I want to kind of see how, I didn't really decide which, I just kind of grabbed a few blanks, and we'll decide which ones are going to go with which kits, which colors, basically. So let's go for the baby powder next. What do you guys think? That'll be fun. And you could use, I'm using all resin blanks just because that's kind of what I do, right? But you could use wood or, anything. And just to let you know, the way that Chad, I'm sure he's got a video on his channel somewhere. But the way that you would make like a watch parts blank, you just grab a piece of tube. You're going to use like the tube in casting molds, and this is obviously way too long for a bead, but just imagine that's, about what you wanted. So what you do is you just glue on all your parts onto the tube, and then you'd put it in that tube in casting mold, cast clear resin around it, and then you got yourself a blank. So check out Turner's TV channel. I'm almost certain that Chad's got a watch parts tutorial on how to do all that kind of stuff. He's like the master at that stuff. Watch parts. He does a lot of, I don't know, he's got all kinds of really cool stuff that he does, like the clear casts, steampunk type things. He's even got these little and these are for like pens typically, but he's even got like these little old stock certificate things that are really neat. Stamps, I think he might do too. He's got all kinds of good stuff. Okay, so let's do a baby powder. So Kevin, let's see here. Oh, from Amazon. Oh, I see. I asked who was there. Okay, no problem. I just wanted to make sure if you had a question. What am I doing? Putting my glasses on. I'm going to turn the dust collector on, and we will go to town on this guy. I'm just going to leave my gloves on. Again, personal preference. I'm not worried that these are going to get caught up and they're just going to rip if they get caught. Definitely don't wear gloves that are like leather gloves or fabrics that are not going to just rip. That's not a good idea. Same thing goes for like long hair, long sleeves, or jewelry is another big one actually that I don't think we really talk about a whole lot. Definitely not a good idea to have a ring on while you're turning. But even like necklaces and stuff that can kind of get caught up in machinery. Gotta watch that stuff. Now you might notice that I have a ring, but I have a silicone ring. So even if it's one of those things that if it gets caught, it's just gonna rip off and not injure me. So I think I'm just gonna go for like the flat version of this one. I think that's probably good. Stop it and see where we're at. Yeah, that's good. These things go quick. Like I said, really, I love these types of kits for like gifts and things like that, because I mean, you can just knock these guys out, you know? Like, I might not even, if I was doing a lot of these, I would probably kind of batch them where I'm just turning, you know, a bunch of them all at once, then switch the lathe over for polishing, and then do all the assembly, like kind of break it into stages. I think it's kind of fun to do each one here on the live stream. I don't know. Makes more sense, I think, if you're going to be doing a few of them, to just turn them all and then polish them all, that kind of thing. Dave, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. So this is the baby powder one. It smells like baby powder. That's funny. I think that's probably good. Now this one we could just go with a matte finish if we wanted. In fact, I think I'm gonna, because frankly I kind of like the look of these, you know, with the kind of duller colors anyway. I didn't really find that polishing it really added anything to the, you know, to the pen when we did the pens. So we're just gonna go for the matte. My way of doing that, I'm just gonna take it up to the gray zone of papers. And Chad was, you know, when we were talking about it, Chad was in the chat. He likes to just go to green for matte finishes on his pens and stuff. Yeah, man, welcome to the stream. Glad you can make it out. You want to make the fragrance pen? You know what I want is like a scratch and sniff, which that actually could have been possible. I actually looked into like how that like works. And if you could get, I think this, I don't know, I couldn't find scratch and sniff, whatever, liquid or, you know, anything like that. But I think it could be possible to actually get that to work. Just, I was kind of looking at how that actually, how the process works, and I think it would work in resin. Like I said, the biggest problem with resins is it kind of just traps stuff. So, you know, it kind of masks scents. But if you could do scratch and sniff, that it doesn't work the same way. Like it would actually possibly work. I don't know. But I couldn't get anywhere with that. So if anybody has like a connection with whoever's making scratch and sniff stuff these days, let me know. Get me some scratch and sniff strawberry or watermelon or something. We'll do it. Jim's here. What's up? A pizza pen. Do love me some pizza. That's another reason why I love going to the Turner's Warehouse open house. They usually have pizza. Ain't gonna miss that, you know. I think they get the pizza from Costco, which is pretty good pizza. And cheap too. I'm telling you guys, I don't even know how Costco does it. So for lunches for me, I just buy the Costco chickens. I mean, like, I don't know why everybody doesn't just go buy a Costco chicken every week. Like, even if you don't eat it for some reason, like, oh, I wasted $5, who cares? Like, it's less than a coffee these days. One coffee, right? And I eat all week on that Costco chicken. Lunch for, it's not like an entire like 7 days, but like 4 or 5 days of lunch. So I like to do this kind of manual, like circular kind of deal when I'm doing these matte finishes, because if you just had straight lines or round, especially the round lines, your eyes can kind of pick things up like that. But similar to like how a random orbit sander works, if we can just put like random scratch pattern, because you know there's going to be scratches. It's you know, this is whatever, you know, 2000 grit or 13 whatever, 1000 to 1500, somewhere in that range, and our eyes can pick that up typically. But I find that if you just do a little bit of this kind of circular kind of sanding, it really helps to just make that surface look just matte, which is different than just scratchy. What it actually is just scratchy, you know. All right, I'm going to take these gloves off because they're wet. But I'm digging that a lot. That might look good with the black. I don't know. And so, you know, like they're just little guys. Not much going on there. Pretty cool though. All right, so let's set this guy aside. We'll put this over on the desk over here where we're gonna assemble everything. So let's go with the this whatever, pearl and gold. We'll call this the Mike McEwen one. Okay, we'll get our in fact, I think I'm just gonna, I love the magnets on the lathe buddy, because you can just hang it on like I just hang it on my tool chest behind me, which is pretty awesome. That out of the way. All right, let's see here. Yeah, I think that'll be a fun bead one. Those colors. It was tough. The hardest part, because like really I was actually just, I mean, I have access to any of my blanks in inventory also, technically. And I was like, and then I got a ton of things. You know, we've made a bunch of stuff on the stream, and I've got like little extras for many of those things. And I was like, oh man, I don't even know what to turn. So it was a tough choice, but so we'll get this one done, and then we'll finish up with the deep space. That's my new blank. I'm really excited to see that one turned up. Let's see here. Oh, and actually noodles in it. That's awesome. The dice smell like beef. Oh my God. Yeah, they do have those pens that hold the essential oils. Jim, yes, I will be at Turner's Warehouse. Absolutely. Friday and Saturday, and actually I'm doing one-on-one, got some one-on-one classes also on Monday. And like I said, if anybody wants to take a private class, it's going to be on the Monday though, on the 10th. there's a link in the description already where you can sign up. I think there's 2 spots open still. And basically it's cool. We can do whatever you want. You know, we can do, if you just want to learn how to do casting, you could do that, or if you have specific things that you want to make, you get to make them and then take them home, which is pretty awesome. The only issue is you do have to wait for the blanks to be ready, you know, so just kind of keep that in mind. Worst case scenario, like if you're somebody that was actually like only there, you know, for like the weekend, came from out of town or something like that, then they can just ship the blanks to you when they're ready. Ooh, that's feeling quite nice. Now another thing you could do is kind of put a little bit of a texture type thing. We could even use like the little beading tool possibly. Let's see what that, if we can do that kind of thing. I think that would be kind of fun. So we're gonna put beads on a bead. What do you think of that? It's pretty intricate. The only thing I don't like about doing this is it makes it a little bit more difficult to polish, kind of, but that's okay. So what I'm doing here is I'm pulling out my little beading tool from Easywood Tools. So let's try this out and see what we can do. Put you guys in here. I like this little beading tool. The best part about it is it's not a tool, they're just cutters. So you just use your, you know, whatever Easywood Tools handle you got. Generally probably a square one, but that's cool. Add a little bit of fun to that one. Still got some gold and some pearl going on in there. So let's see how we can do with the polishing part of this, sanding and all that. Sometimes it's a little bit harder to deal with all those like ridges and stuff, and may not turn out as polished looking, but we can definitely get the tips, the top parts of the, you know, of the beads there. Let's see here. Scrolling. Oh yeah, I know. It's a what do they call it? What do they call that? It's their loss product, whatever. To get you in the door, but and I end up I go shopping, so I know the little lathe mats are awesome, the lathe buddies. Mass production, love it. Let's see here. Hey Barb, oh, you're fine. We still got a couple of beads to turn here. We're just having a good time. It's a laid back one, you know. No pressure, no pressure. putting some more gloves on. I really just don't like the water on my hands. It really dries them out. All right, so let's see how this goes here with our silicon carbide. Like I said, I can get the tops of these things real easy. Can maybe kind of get in there with it kind of crinkled. I don't think we're going to get a whole lot of polish on the insides of these guys probably, but or like, you know, sanding going down. That's okay. We'll just see how that works. I'm not, you know, not 100% sure even. Another thing that we can maybe do to kind of help out a little bit, like this would maybe be a decent use of like a, you know, like a Yorkshire grit kind of thing. I don't know. We'll give it a shot. Oh, that's the microphone. I don't need that. Let's try their paste stuff, their regular stuff. That, I don't know. It might kind of get in there a little bit better. Who knows? You just get trapped in there too. I don't know. I think that's too fast. Nope. I think the blue stuff actually, like the shop towel version, possibly a little bit more resilient. No, maybe not. A little bit. Just trying to kind of get into those grooves and hopefully get this stuff polished up a little bit better than otherwise. Yeah, it just keeps ripping. But I want to try and get as much of this stuff out as possible. So what we're going to do is we're going to try just going with this Yorkshire grit. And then I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to try my fingernail. I don't know if this is really smart or not, but doesn't seem to be that dangerous. All right, so I think I got most of that Yorkshire grit out of there. Now, technically you would want to sand higher, I think. But I'm kind of curious to see how this goes. Who knows, you know? Maybe worth it, may not be. So we're going to close up the water. And I could have done the same thing, you know, with the green and the gray, but I figured, let's just see what happens. It's not looking too bad. It may not turn out the most polished, you know, like there's maybe some scratches here and there and stuff, but what I'm hoping is it's like good enough, especially for how small this thing is, to be still shiny. And that's actually one of the really awesome things about Magic Juice. It kind of, even if there's some scratches left, I think some of the steps actually kind of, I don't know, kind of act like a finish in a sense. I mean, it's not at all, but it's just a, you know, it's just a polish, but it can kind of fill in, like almost like there's like some waxes possibly or something, like something's left behind that kind of, you know, if you put it under a microscope, you can see the scratches, but it doesn't diminish the shininess, which is what usually happens. If you got a bunch of scratches in there, it just doesn't get as bright, glossy as it could. But Magic Juice kind of saves the day, even if there are a couple scratches here and there. It really shines it up, gets it bright. Terry cloth. Maybe. I really don't like using like anything like that on the lathe. It's just not my favorite thing. I think I'd definitely stay away from like a terry cloth, because that stuff just does not rip. Which obviously is what we kind of, you know, that's the tough thing. It's kind of what we want, but I also just don't love using things like that at the lathe. So the Magic Juice is also going to be the same thing. Like this is going to be kind of a tedious thing here. And I'm not getting it out of those grooves so well. So definitely like a fingernail works. Kind of burned it that time. Yeah, polish may not be the greatest way to go for something like this with beads. It's going to be a little bit more tedious, just to let you know. You might be able to use something like a cord. If you've got like, actually, you know what? It may kind of burnish it. I don't know how this is going to go. I would feel a little bit less worried about like string. It's kind of like rope, you know, like the burning stuff. And I think you can get your hands away from there before it like really did anything to you. So let's just try a little bit of string here. See what that does. Just to get into those grooves and clean out the junk. Like I said, you don't want to put a lot of pressure on this, because it's going to kind of burnish it. I think this could be, well, see, that's kind of burning it already. Maybe not. I don't know. That kind of works, and I just, if it did catch, like, you just let go. Like, it's not really, it shouldn't pull your fingers in. It's kind of like the rope burning, whatever, the metal things. That definitely cleans out all that junk. Yeah, Q-tip could work. I don't have any here. I gotta bring some. Oh, I dropped number 2. All right, here we go. Kind of get some of this stuff out just by kind of using the towel, but really the best way to just get the stuff out of those grooves is like with a string. Maybe use air. Kind of blew it right back in my face though. My lips are polished. Yeah, it's just whatever. String. I don't know what you call it. Maybe it's called cotton twine. I gotta go pick up the bottle of number 2 over here. It dropped. Oh, and I kind of broke the cap, it looks like. That's okay. So overall, if you use the beading tool, just know that you're going to be in for a little bit of fun. I'm not sure if there's a better way to do this or not. Because like even buffing, you know, you're still going to get this stuff in there. I guess if you don't want to have to clear out the, you know, each one of these grooves and all that kind of stuff. If you don't want to deal with this, then the only way to do it is go straight through your magic or your Zona papers. You know, just use polishing papers. You're not going to get anything stuck in there. But so far, we've gotten through what, number 3? So far, it's looking good though. I mean, I could probably just stop right here and save us all the trouble of doing all this, but I want to go all the way up and see how this thing turns out. But it's looking great. I'm definitely happy with it so far. Gun cleaning patches. Yeah, I don't have a gun cleaning kit. Yeah, you could probably. I'm not that worried about the burning. Actually, I don't think it's doing anything really. And if it burnishes it, that's fine. But you're really not going to get the bottoms. You know, I think where it's burning is like the bottoms of the troughs. You know, and I just don't think that you're going to get those super polished in the first place. So burnishing it isn't even the worst thing to do that could happen, I don't think. And like I said, I think this is going to look fine in the end. I'm not really that worried. It's kind of the pressure. Like I got to kind of give it. This string is actually probably too big, really, for these grooves. So I'm kind of putting pressure in there. And some of it is actually, I think, just dust, but there is definitely a little bit of smoke coming too. I think it'll be okay. I'm not that worried. Yeah, dental floss might work. That's a good one. I don't have any of that. I have some at the shop somewhere. It's not handy. What's going on here? So it works. It'll get it. Just might take a little while. All right, we'll do a little. I can take this string apart, I guess, technically. Try a little bit less. There's like little individual things. All right, so I took out a strand. Let's see how this one does. Seems to get in there a little bit easier. All right, final step 6. Do they make bead tools that aren't as deep? Yeah, and actually that's actually the least deep one. I think it's only like an 1/8 inch radius or something like that. So you're really not going to find too many, you know, it's going to be, you could make your own if you wanted a really shallow one, but it's kind of not super, I mean, I guess, you know, in this case it's kind of practical for something very small like this, but most people aren't putting beads on something this small, I think. So it's something you don't really see a lot of. For it to get too much thinner. Or, you know, shorter, smaller. And another thing you could do is, if you have one of the sonic cleaner things. Technically, you could probably just kind of leave that stuff in there and then just sonic clean, you know, the grooves out basically. Just drop it in your sonic cleaner, and I think you'd be good. But I think that worked fine. I mean, I'm not. That's pretty cool looking. Pretty shiny. You know, like this, the top surface is pretty shiny. That's all that really matters. You're really not, I mean, you're really just not going to get grooves super polished in most cases. That's a pretty cool looking one. I mean, really, I don't think we're going to run into one that I'm like, wow, that looks terrible. You know, I think they're all going to look good. So here's the deep space. I'm super excited about this. I can't wait to see how this one turns out. Ooh, this thing feels cool. The beaded one. It just kind of feels neat in your fingers. Huh. It's got a little grip to it. That's cool. Okay, so deep space. This is the new blank. Links are in the description. I'll probably, at the end of the video when we're putting things together, I'll grab more links to the bead kits and all the goodies for you guys in the chat. But like I said, if you're watching later or if you just want to go grab it now, I've got the bead kits. I got the Lathe Buddy towel thing. I've got the deep space blanks. I've got also the links to the one-on-one classes. Everything's all linked up in the description already. So I'm going to go and get some blue paper towels real quick here. We're going to need one more batch of these guys. So I think I'm just going to go for straight, I don't know, there's not that many variations of things you can do necessarily with these. I would kind of need a slightly larger blank because you could do, well, I can do like a convex, is that right? It's not concave, convex, like we could maybe try and get it a little bit convex and just meet, you know, where there's like kind of a hump. These blanks just aren't that, like you'd probably want to go with something like a 7/8 diameter blank if you really wanted to get it like bulbous. But let's see what we can do with this, with just a 3/4 inch. Yeah, I knew you'd like the gold. I did it just for you. And so just going back to the question about beading tools and the depth of them. So I was definitely using the shortest radius, but they've got, and I don't know, yeah, I got to get my glasses. Going to the eye doctor, guys. Got an appointment. So that's exciting. Maybe I'll be able to see. So this one is a, yeah, so this is a 1/8. Sorry, I don't know if you can see that. 1/8. I don't know, there's kind of a glare, but that's the 1/8 radius, and that's the smallest radius that you can get. But they also have a 3/16, 3/8, and what's this one? And a 1/4. So, and I think that's all of them. I don't know if you can see that. 1/4. There you go. Oh, 1/4 isn't the biggest. 3/8 is the biggest. So you can kind of see. I don't think there's anything smaller than a 1/8. I think the other thing you got to think about is it's probably difficult to manufacture anything smaller than a 1/8 radius on these things. And the demand is probably just not there, honestly. Let's see here. Butcher's twine. I don't even know what that is. Yeah, Jim, I know I don't know offhand if there's another way to order them, but I heard that Turner's Warehouse is at least talking to them about carrying them. I don't know details. I'm not privy to anything, you know, whatever. But I'm really hoping that they finally just have them at Turner's Warehouse, so you don't have to mess around with this Facebook. You know, it's really difficult if you don't have a website to sell things. You know, it just, even like an Etsy store, something where you can just go and it's like a known thing that you don't have to be a member of. I just, it's going to be better. But you know, this is a brother sister team. They just identified, you know, a deficiency in the turning world. He's, you know, Roman, he's I forget his like Facebook thing, but you know, he's a wood turner, and then his sister's she does sewing, and he's like, hey, you know, it'd be really cool if we could, you know, collaborate on this thing, put something together, and make a cool product. So that's kind of how it's set up, and it's just beginning. You know, they just started selling these things. So it'll be good if they can get them in Turner's Warehouse to make it just much easier for you to, you know, grab a link, go check them out at Turner's Warehouse, search their website, whatever. But they do have like 4 different sizes. So while we're sitting here chatting, I'm gonna turn off the dust collector. So they've got the big guy. We're zoomed in, aren't we? I don't even know if you can see this. So this is the big one. I like this one the most. It generally, this is what I want. I want it long enough to cover, you know, both up to the headstock and tailstock, all that kind of stuff, and cover my banjo. So that's like their, I don't know. I think they may have names for the different sizes. I don't have every one of them. Another useful one, they sent these to me just for disclosure. To try out. But I like this one also, and the way that they kind of, I don't know, the way that I've seen this used is actually kind of on the back side of your tailstock. So like, and the thing is, I usually don't pull this one out, but you know, I'm kind of back and forth a lot of times with my water bucket and stuff. Like, it's not a bad thing to have kind of both of these. Like I like the idea of that, and there would be certain circumstances where I would definitely pull this out and just cover, you know, even more of my lathe. The other thing they have is just like, I think it's either just a little square or maybe even just a little circle one. I don't have one of these. And the way I think they call it a spot buddy, and it would just be to like, one of the uses that that Roman mentioned that a lot of people use them for is, a lot of times at your grinder, you might have like a cup of water to quench things, you know, cool them off. Things like that, just a little spot. It's like a coaster almost, pretty much. And then the other one they have is like I don't know what size it is, but it's like a bench cover. So it's like a really big mat that you would cover your like entire bench with. So pretty interesting, pretty cool product. When I saw one, and like Roman was trying to get a hold of me, and I saw that Chad kind of, I don't know if they had them at like SWAT, or I don't know, he had them somewhere. I saw them and I was like, oh, that's a pretty cool idea. These stupid, it was always a joke, like, and I don't know if people even realize, I used to use a ShamWow, and it was just a total joke. We had those things. They generally aren't that good at even absorbing stuff. Like, technically you got to get them wet to have them absorb stuff. So it was kind of a joke that I used those. So I was happy to try these things out, and they work good so far. I've been really happy with them. But like I said, if you just wait a little bit, I'm hoping that they will hopefully have them at Turner's Warehouse soon. Maybe other places too. Not sure. Yeah, a lot of people use like buckets and stuff. That works pretty well too. All right, so we're gonna go for kind of a cambered, humped one. Trying to get it as even as I can. It can be kind of a difficult challenge sometimes. Looking pretty good. Definitely don't have any complaints about the turning so far. Trying to get these things matched up to the bushings there. That's kind of cool. It's like I got a little work to do on each end here still. Get in there and kind of chewing up those bushings. It's okay. We're good. I got it. Okay, so not too bad. It's a little bit bulbous. Like I said, if you really wanted to put a lot of, shape into it, you'd really kind of need to go for like a 7/8 probably. Even a PVC pipe, what is that, like 11/16, 13/16, whatever, slightly bigger than a 3/4. Is 11/16? Let me see here. Yeah, so 13/16. 11/16 is smaller than 3/4. I know my maths. I think I'm going to get some new sandpaper too. Eventually they just kind of get not as good. And with the black, that's the one thing, black, dark blanks. Not a bad idea to just pull out a brand new piece of sandpaper on something like that, because they're just much harder to get polished. They show every little scratch, flaw, And so for the darker blanks, you might just chuck your sandpaper, go grab a new one, especially if you're just like not sure how much life is left in your sandpaper. Really not a bad idea to just start fresh, be good, because you're kind of it's kind of an uphill battle when you're dealing with black blanks. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they probably will carry them soon. I heard a rumor, and I haven't really talked to Chad or anything. I don't have any information, so I don't want to get anybody's hopes up or whatever. But I also at the same time can't really imagine that they're not going to carry them. Seems like they probably should be able to. Just depends. Wholesaling's a little bit harder too, so they may not be able to produce them for cheap enough and all that kind of stuff. There's issues with that, but hopefully they'll carry them soon. If not, hopefully they can get maybe like a little Etsy shop or something set up. All right, let's see how we're doing here. Very careful. You don't want to put a lot of pressure when you're doing this, the lengthwise sanding. very light. You don't need to sand it more. You're just trying to kind of put a cross hatch of scratches in there, just to kind of break up those, radial scratches. If you push too hard and at this point, it can take a lot longer to get those scratches out with the next grit, because you could be effectively putting deeper scratches in than the regular grit. When it's spinning, you've actually got some forces that are pushing the sandpaper away a little bit more than if you're just kind of, doing it by hand, digging it in. All right, so go with the green, and I'm gonna look at this real quick. I'm gonna put my glasses on because I can't see. Not a bad idea when you're dealing with like darker blanks, any blank if you're curious, but just to kind of get an idea in between, let it dry off, take a look at it and see like, okay, so what's going on here? It looks like it's okay. The problem is the silicon carbide paper is a little bit, doesn't conform as well. It looks like I need to do a little bit more work on these ends. Might be like a little bit of a lip. I'm just going to kind of hit it here because I want to make this look good, good representation of the blank. And all right, let's move on to our green. Yeah, it is kind of tough to wholesale stuff, I don't know. So far, I think kind of the average, let's just say, wholesaling like discount or whatever, and it makes sense. But the retailer needs to not pay retail, so they're going to pay less than the retail price of your product, right? So you're selling it to them for less than you would sell it for. And sometimes it can be a little bit tough, You're like, okay, I can't do that. So you either raise your prices, your retail prices, or it doesn't work, and the retailer can only, go so low on a margin to make it even worth carrying something. So you got those kind of factors going on. And I think, it's obviously, it's just tougher for piece, one at a time kind of types of things that you're making. When you can't just batch out, when you can't expand, so okay, so you're painting me less, but hopefully you're buying more than I normally make. So if I can just ramp up production, that's fine. But if you can't ramp up production, you're just working more, then it gets tough. It's one of the limitations with blanks too, because most of the things that I do, there's timing involved, and I can't just mix up more resin necessarily. There's only so much time during that working time for me to get it done without it being too late, kind of thing, and I don't even, when you're making pen blanks, I don't really typically like mixing up a ton of resin. Again, there's a lot of very close timing factors going on that don't really allow you to ramp up and batch out like a bunch of blanks when you're doing like a color swirl type thing, which is what most of my blanks are. If all you want is like a black blank or a red blank, I can make hundreds. That's easy. All right, let's see how that looks. What is that looking like? That's looking good. Okay, so I'll do a little bit of this number. And so, you know, there's glitter. This has starlight glitter in it, the deep space blanks. And you don't necessarily need to put a finish on top. You could. I'm not doing that, obviously. You might be able to get a little bit more pizzazz if you put a finish on. I'm very opposed to having to put a finish on resin blanks. If you can avoid it, I don't want to do it personally. And so these will work fine. The micro starlight works pretty good. It'll get polished, kind of. It'll brighten up if you polish the blank. My other, like the other like colored glitter blanks, there's a lot of glitter in there, and you just really can't polish that stuff. So you really, for the best look, you're gonna want to put a finish on that. But these guys, you can get away with no polish, or no finish, no top coat like a CA finish, and it'll still look great. Okay, that ought to be good. I was reading comments and got lost in the polishing. Okay, so we'll get these guys out of the way. We'll get some magic juice and we will wrap this up, get these things assembled. I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be pretty cool. Like I said, I've been wanting to do this for a long time, actually. I've actually had these kits for many months. Kind of forgot, actually. They got kind of stuff piled on them, and I forgot that I had them for a while. But then I remembered, and I just never got around to doing them. So I thought, okay, this is a good week. I don't really have anything else, anything brilliant planned here, so... All right, so step one with the magic juice, here we go. This one's a little bit easier to polish than the beaded one. Oh, that's already looking good. I can already see the stars. It's full of stars. I'm gonna make you guys wait till the end to see this. It's gonna look good, I think, though. Okay, number 2, done. On to number 3. Okay, these things go pretty quick. Number 4, don't need much. These little beads. 2 more to go. Let's see, who's the one that is... Four by 6 for Magic Juice. Trying to follow the discussion here while polishing, which is probably dangerous. Okay, so number 6. Looking pretty good. It's very shiny. Okay. Let's give it a little wipey. And we're done. Let's get you guys in here to see this thing. Let's get my camera around the corner here. Ooh. Kind of hard to see right now. I'm gonna have to pick it up, but I love how it twinkles. Doesn't that just look like the night sky? It'd be better if I can get this glare out of you guys' eyes. I love these blanks. I gotta put my glasses on because I can't tell if the thing's in focus or not. Zoom out a little bit further. There we go. Now you can see it. The problem is the lights. It's so shiny. The lights are reflecting everywhere. A little bit of scratchiness going on there. Like I said, the black ones, man, they really show like every little scratch that you leave in there. Got a few of them, but I think it's good enough, especially for like a bead. Try and find an angle without a glare or a shadow thing. Pretty fun. I love a little bit of glitter, doesn't everybody? All right, so let me just kind of back the camera up. I want to get this lathe buddy hanging and drying over here. Get the Magic Juice out of the way as well. And I got to make sure that I put the adapter bushings back where they're supposed to go and everything. I always lose the adapter bushings. I don't like that. All right, so let's put this overhead here. And I'm going to clean up the back of this guy real quick just to get that polish. There's a little bit of polish in between sometimes. Get those guys cleaned up. Get my adapters back where they go. And I'm going to clean up these bushings as well, just to get the polishes and all the junk off. The insides of these things. And they're going to go back in the bead. I love these things from Turner's Warehouse. When you get the bushings, they give you one of these little doohickeys that just holds your bushings nicely. And you could make like a setup where, you know, all these little guys kind of can go into a slot or, you know, something like that, especially if you have a 3D printer. Not too hard to create kind of a thing. I got to do that. I got to sit down and create that one of these days. But I haven't yet. Okay, so let's get this. This is a kit. Put that back in the bag. Try and keep things a little bit organized here. All right, so we've got, I'm thinking that the brass, I mean, that just makes the most sense. Could probably go black, like that's pretty cool looking too. I mean, you could probably do any of them. I don't like the blue as much. I don't really think stainless is the greatest. So I'm kind of thinking brass for the white and gold one. I definitely like the silver on this blue. Blue makes some sense, but it's kind of a different blue, so I'm not 100% sure on that. Black would look good too, I think. Definitely. I don't know if you guys can see any of this stuff. Kind of zoom it in a little bit. That's pretty cool looking. So I could go either one of those. Black, definitely, on that one. Silver's pretty good. I actually kind of like the black a little better, maybe. Let's look at blue. That could work. But with the matte, I kind of like that black. And silver, I kind of like that. With the deep space. That's pretty cool. The blue actually I think would work good too. Man, this is tough. Let's see what you guys think. Any suggestions? Sorry, I'm reading the comments here real quick. Okay. So let's see here. I really like the blue with the black. I could do the silver. Ooh, okay, we're doing black and silver. I like that. Okay, so black and silver, blue and black, and then I guess we'll just go with blue, I guess, on this. The blue one's the toughest one. I don't know that silver really looks that great. Black's not too bad. I really like the silver with the black, so we're doing that. We'll go with blue. I think we'll go with blue with the Dodger one. And then we'll do black with this one. Okay? Let's do it. Oh yeah, that one does look pretty good with the black. I think we chose well. Let's do this gold one here. Oh yeah, that one's a winner. Oh, get on camera here. It's nice and shiny too. It's good. So we got two. Let's go with the deep space. Deep space. Ooh, that one's a little tough to. There we go. All right. I like the deep space one. Where am I at? Get on camera. That's looking pretty awesome. Okay, and then the concave one. Yeah, okay. It looks good with the blue. I'm down with it. Might not have gotten this one super flat at the end. It just needed a little push there. That's fine. Yeah, that's pretty good. Not bad. So, like I said, I don't know how to do all the paracord stuff and all that, but I'm guessing you just kind of shove it through. Oh, that didn't work. There we go. Fortunately, I pulled the... yeah, so I'm not very good at the paracord thing. But what I plan to do is, I think what I'm going to need to do is find something that's big enough to block the bottom, basically. But then I'm just basically going to use those, I don't know what you call that metal stuff that, for like light chain, poles, whatever. The thing is, I just need to get something big enough to kind of stop it, to hold it in the bottom. And then these are going to be lamp poles at our house, or like, ceiling fan poles. So it'll be kind of fun. I don't know. Let's see if I can fix this paracord that I messed up. Nope, I don't think so. Okay, whatever. I'll throw that in the trash. Anyway, I don't know. What do you guys think about those bead kits? They're pretty cool. Like I said, cheap, easy to make, obviously. But you could do so many different little awesome things. Again, another thing that I was thinking of is like, to add something, a little bit, something kind of cool to like tool handles and things that you can kind of hang and just, grab it real quick. I know a lot of people like, well, there's lots of paracord stuff. I'm just not into that kind of stuff. I'm not really like the EDC. A lot of people in the EDC community are into like beads and paracord and all that kind of good stuff. So there's lots of things that I don't really know about, probably, but that you can do with that. I don't know. What do you guys, can anybody think of anything really cool, like a different idea than I've thought of, that you might want to use these things for? They're really neat. It's such a simple idea, but it's cool because, like I said, cheap. You can pick them up quick. You can make gifts out of these things like super fast. And if you really want to get into doing some different stuff, you could just pick up some of that tube. I'm going to go to their website real quick and see if, let's see, do they show a link to the tube favorite accessories? Really? I'm pretty sure it's just the 8mm tube. I heard Chad say that, and so let's just see. I'm going to do a quick search here. Let's see here, brass tubes. I think, yeah, 8mm, 10-inch long tubes. So you can just buy the tubes and make them, however long you want to do them. If you want to get into kind of customizing, different stuff. but they do come with the little tubes and all that stuff. So let's, let me grab you guys a link really quick again. Copy that. Oh, that's not what I want. Copy that. So here's a link to the bead kits. They also do a thing where it comes with a little bit of paracord and the bushings, and you get the, I think you just get the stainless steel and the brass ones with it. It's called the starter set. Let's see, product specs. Yeah. Oh, included, here we go. Yeah, brass, stainless, yeah. So you get a brass, a stainless steel bead, and then the bushings, which you're gonna need most likely, and then 2 feet of black paracord. And don't don't pull the string through, or else you'll mess it up. So I'll get a link to that real quick for you guys if you want to do it, because that seems like if you haven't bought it yet, it seems kind of like a good idea to just do that. You're gonna have to buy the bushings anyway. And then if anybody wants to sign up for the one-on-one classes, like I said, last I heard there was 2 spots available on Monday the 10th of February. During it's, over the weekend of the Turner's Warehouse open house. So here's a link to that. And last but not least, if anybody wants to snag some deep space blanks, they are the newest one. They're on my website and ready to go. I'm probably gonna have to make another batch of those things actually today or tomorrow. But I really like them. Hopefully, and if you make stuff with the deep space blanks especially, I'd love to, number one, I'd love to get some feedback from anybody. Let me know what you think about them, but also love to see them. So if you post pictures, or if you just get a picture and you think about it, shoot me an email with the picture of whatever you make with them. I'd always love to see that. So let's see here. Going back up to the chat, make sure. Yeah, the sparkle's fun on those. Like I said, it's a simple blank. There's not much going on there, but I was thinking I would probably do. I think it would be cool to kind of get the next phase of things that I would like to try out with bespoke pens is to kind of combine things where you have like, you're basically kind of gluing different blanks together. Where maybe you have like a window of like clear or like transparent resin, and then you can use like the deep space for like another blank that's really cool that I don't know if I've really mentioned is my disco ball blanks. It's kind of a similar theme. Do I have one? Well, I got a cap that I turned up. I can't find the actual blank itself. But I thought this would be really good, like accent material as well. Like I could even see like maybe a disco ball cap and then like a deep space body or something like that. Stuff like that where you're kind of combining materials. And I think that some of these kind of like glittery things and just interesting ones, they're good for that as well as just making a full pen out of. So it'll be a fun lineup, fun addition to my lineup. I like that. You like the corncob version? Yeah, it's pretty cool. A little bit more work. I mean, it wasn't ridiculous, but I'm pretty happy with that. It turned out kind of cool, and it feels really, really interesting. Like for like a pull, you're always going to be grabbing this like like that and pulling. The texture is really fun. That's the only way I can explain it. It's going to be fun to be like using that one a lot. So let's see. Man, there was a lot. Yeah, I kind of like the black on the blue too, but all right, so hopefully I'm not missing anything. Oh, Carl's doing a live stream too. Sweet. Go check in with Carl. Tell him I said hi. I got lunch to eat right now. So it looks like 4 o'clock Pacific time. Okay, good. I might check in a little later. Could be an add-on between anything with a zipper. Yeah, that's a good idea. That would be a cool thing like on a jacket for a zipper pull kind of thing. That's a good one. I like that. Might have to do that. Yeah, I think so. Hopefully, it was something new that you guys haven't seen. I think that these things could. They're really fun to make. Like I said, I was excited to get to start making some of these. They're very simple to make. I would say like honestly the hardest part was facing, whatever, squaring up the faces of these things. It was kind of even on the little disc sander doohickey thing. Not much to grab onto. That was like probably the hardest part about making these. But I wanted to share these things also because I think that if you knew that they existed, maybe you don't have a project right now. You're not like, oh, I need these things because I'm doing this. I think it's one of those things that down the road you're like, oh, what would be like the best thing is these little bead kits for this specific thing. Like it's something that when you run into it, it's going to be the answer that you're looking for, kind of thing, I think. So anyway, let's see the diameter of the bead kit. I can definitely send you that diameter. I think I got, yeah. I'll shoot it to you probably on like Instagram or Facebook, one of those two. I'm not sure which one we usually talk on. But I will get that. Actually, I'll get that right after the stream. So anyway, again, if you can make it out, Turner's Warehouse is having their open house February 7th and 8th. I'm going to be there along with a lot of other people. It should be really fun. Food, demos, and again, the one-on-ones are on Monday, like the following Monday with me, that are available still. So we got a whole weekend of stuff going on the 7th. It should be pretty fun. I hope to see you there. I'm hoping, I don't know for sure, I can't imagine they're not going to do it, but there should be live streams Saturday of all the demos on the YouTube, on the Turner's TV YouTube channel. I'll try to let everybody know. We got weeks, so I'm sure I'll find out. Let's see, how many weekends do I still have? 1, 2. So we got 2 more weekends. I'll find out what the deal is with the live streams and let you guys know next week on this live stream. So next week we'll be back. We'll do some resin casting, I think. Yeah, anyway, I was thinking of something, but I'm not sure exactly what we're going to do, but it should be pretty fun, I think. I might do a little bit more with some transparent stuff. I really enjoyed making those blanks and the pen. So we'll have to see what we get next week. It should be pretty fun, though. We'll do some resin casting. So, ooh, a sneaker. You know what you could do? Yeah, like you could even put it like, you could get a bunch. I can't get my leg up there probably. You could probably do like a bunch of them on your shoes, and stuff like. Oh, that's pretty cool. Sweet, good idea. I like it, Ann. And purchases. Oh, nice. Yeah, that's cool. Oh, yeah, that is pretty cool, actually, to add that, especially if you use like the same blank for the pen. You could just kind of add that in with that. That's pretty cool. All right. I will definitely let you, or say hi to Gretchen for you, Mike. Nice. Cool. Yeah, looking forward to seeing you, Jim. I think that's it. Yeah, they should be live streaming some of the weekend at least. Probably the demos, I'm guessing, unless somebody has a problem with being live on the internet or something like that. But it should be pretty cool. So I'll let you guys know what's going on with all that stuff. But I hope you have a great rest of the weekend. Have a great rest of the evening. And if you do get some of these little bead kits, tag me if you post pictures or anything like that. I'd love to see what you guys make with them. It's always fun to see different ideas with all these different cool things that we have out here that we can play with. So anyway, guys, thanks for joining the fun tonight, and I hope you have a great evening. I'll see you guys on the next stream.